The National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation is the permanent home for all materials, statements, documents, physical items that were collected by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission over the course of its mandate. But more than just an archive, the National Centre is dedicated to keeping the issues of truth and reconciliation alive in this country forever. By virtue of the work of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, we now have an incredible collection of material here at the Centre, totaling some 7,000 statements from residential school survivors and others affected by the residential school system, millions upon millions of documents from government and church archives, and thousands of photographs. We will be preserving the records to make sure that these records are here not just for the next 2 years, but forever. We'll be working diligently to ensure that as many people as possible have access to these records, no matter where they live, no matter how remote they are. But we're also going to be working with educators right across the country, ensuring that this material gets into the hands of learners, young and old alike.
For over a century and a half, Canada forcibly removed Indigenous children from their homes, keeping them for years from their families in government and church-run residential schools. Here, they were victims of abuse and mistreatment, punished for speaking their language or displaying their culture. Many never returned from the schools. All suffered from how they were treated, an attempted cultural genocide that would haunt successive generations of Indigenous communities across Canada to this day. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada was established to uncover the horrific legacy of residential schools and its impact on Indigenous communities from coast to coast to coast. The TRC hosted national and regional events where the testimonies of thousands of survivors and their families were recorded, and Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal citizens learned the truth of what happened and were engaged in the process of reconciliation.
It will be a reminder to all future Canadians that indeed what we have heard from survivors in the past 10 years or so did happen. We are creating a national memory here.
The groundbreaking work of the TRC is just the beginning. As the Commission concludes, the enormous amount of testimony and information it has gathered is being transferred to the newly established National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation at the University of Manitoba.
I understand the impact these schools have had upon my life, and I haven't even walked in the halls of those schools, but in many ways I carry my parents' story.
At the NCTR, we work very hard to ensure that Indigenous people's perspectives and approaches oversee the work of the Centre. Through the 7-person Governing Circle and Survivor Circle, Indigenous and survivor perspectives remain central to the operations of the NCTR. The Governing Circle ensures Indigenous control over the materials and provides guidance on policies, activities, ceremony, and protocols.
There are things in our history that we don't want to repeat in the future. Things that have happened to some of us and some of our families that we don't want to happen to our children and their children and so on. History and the understanding of it and coming to grips with it, even when it's difficult, is important for everyone.
They need to understand that some of the suffering that we face as First Nations is directly a result of these schools that you see behind me here. The impact of that moment is lifelong, right? As much as we say I'm over it, we're not.
The records and materials held at the NCTR are the Centre's spiritual core. The NCTR ensures privacy, confidentiality, and security over the documents, statements, and records through access and privacy protocols.
This collection truly is a national treasure, one that will continue to deepen and enrich our understanding of the harm and effect of the residential school system for years to come. We are incredibly excited about the work moving forward. We've got a great group of partners that we're working with. We've got some incredible staff here at the Centre, and we've got the full support of the University of Manitoba.
From the experiences of survivors and their families, to the Canadian apology, to the work of the TRC and the establishment of the NCTR, the focus is the healing of survivors, their families and communities, and the country as a whole.
It's important to remember. Don't forget the survivor. Always remember the survivor.